Alright, hello everyone. Welcome back to the Champions of Westeros League. We're in round 2 this time, and I'm playing a different deck, as is the plan. I'm hoping to play something different every week. There should be at least 5 rounds, probably. So today I am playing a Night's Watch Fealty deck. I'm just looking for something relatively straightforward. I wanted to run Core Wall, because that's one of my favourite strategies. I really like just setting my opponent a puzzle that they have to solve. And I also, part of the reason I went Fealty is that I want to run 3 Watcher on the Walls. So this is a deck with a whole bunch of ranges in it, not a huge amount, but some. Enough to be able to realistically run 3 Watchers. This is partly because of the prevalence of Sea of Blood, and also partly so there's a lot of problematic characters in Stark that be great to kill on militaries. Any chance you get to kill off Rob or maybe even Alisan or Arya these days, really nice. Good to kill off opposing Yorins at times. It's just, I think, an underrated event that offers a lot of coverage against some nasty stuff, and Fealty makes it free in the Challenger's phase. There's also like 3 of the Old Forest Hunters, which are so solid with Fealty. Let's run things like Eastwatch by the Sea more easily, which is a really useful location to have lying around in order to kneel for the forest patrols to interplay from shadows. So essentially have a 2-cost 6 strength ranger there. But otherwise, it's not just a ranger deck. It has a pretty broad rounding. It's mostly just focusing on doing the sensible things comfortably. So the restricted of choice is Yorin, which is almost always, to me, the correct decision in Night's Watch these days. I know some people argue for Bound, but Yorin just changes the game so dramatically that I think I had to run 3. Otherwise, we have Big Jon Snow, the standy wildling one, who is usually my favourite flavour of Jon. I more often play Reigns decks in Night's Watch at the moment, and obviously he is a superstar there. But I just wanted something a little more consistent. I found myself not actually using the Reigns plots that much. I've dropped things like Filthy Accusations and Power Behind the Throne in order to get sort of less consistent but more impactful plots in the scheme deck. So I thought I'd try something that didn't even have a scheme deck at all. Partially so that I could run a Game of Thrones in the regular plot deck, which again is great against Sea of Blood and against crossing decks, and is relatively straightforward to get away with in a deck with 3 of Big Jon. And obviously the Wall loves being able to just turn off an entire Challenger's phase with only 1 challenge. So there's not a lot of power gain outside of the Wall. We've got 1 Lord Commander over here, which is ideally going to go on Jon, but obviously has other targets. We've got a Craster, we've got Yorin if we have to, but that's primarily for Jon. But that's really it. Otherwise, we've got a bit of renown on Corrin, but only at 1 copy. So mostly just trying to play very sensibly, win challenges on defense, and go slowly but steadily ahead of the opponent. So the plots, we've got Valor Morgulis as our reset. I don't love Daenerys very much in general. I think Valor has a little more impact in key matchups, and obviously with Maester Aemon and Craster, there's a little bit more that I can do with it on the defensive end. We've got at the Gates, which is our obvious opener. We really want that Gates of the Moon that turns on the underground vaults to their full potential, and it allows me to run a smaller econ curve in the Fealty between the agenda, guaranteed gates. Then we've got 5 other econ locations, and then Old Forest Hunters if we really need any more. We've got Clydus as well, who will hopefully provide some additional economy. For those big turns, especially if we haven't drawn more of the limited, but if we have colliders particularly, we've got trading with the Patoshi, which should allow us to vomit out most of our hand. For the watch is just a really good plot and always underrated. It's just helping us nail down a Caligus phase. Nice against Sea of Blood as well. It forces them to try something else. Borrowing was the latest addition to the plot deck. I had Counting Coppers in this, but I feel like there should be just enough draw between Hob and Eastwatch that we should be okay here. Yoren is pseudo draw if you think about it. Yeah, and I wanted something that at least fainted at dealing with shadows. It's probably a poor matchup in general, the shadows matchups, but at least with Barring and the one of Iron Throne, there are some options for dealing with those decks. And then finally got the Prince Who Came Too Late, which is just fantastic for Yoren, and has all kinds of other useful targets as well, particularly if I have Aemon set up, so I can not worry about a Valor. Not too much else to mention. Got a couple of Forgotten Forest Scouts as the sort of obviously fitting the Ranger theme and gives us a bit more attacking clout as well. They're really good with Lord Commander if we've got that out as well. Benjen can get us some power claim in a pinch, and got a couple of nightmares for dealing with things like the Red Keep and Winterfell and just any other annoying stuff. It's useful to have around. Alright, I'm just going to get the game going. Start when ready. Yeah, we'll see what we get here. I think the deck should be relatively flexible against a broad subset of possible opponents. As I say, I think the Shadows matchup probably not great, but I don't think my opponent has played an awful lot of those in the past. I could be surprised. My impression from scanning his Jousting Pavilion implies some more aggressive decks, which I think the Watchers should do well in. But a general defense theme, I think, gives me quite a lot of options. I'm pretty comfortable with it. But the Fealty's new. I've only really tested setups. I haven't played a full game with it yet, so this particular iteration could be dreadful. That'd be funny. Well, hopefully my opponent hasn't also set up a game. That could be hilarious. Alright, we are ready to go. Aha, Targ, Sea of Blood. That's scary, but I think we're ready to deal with it. Alright, Targ, Sea of Blood. Obviously inherently a bit of a scary thing. So our opening hand has no limited and has no watchers, and only has one ranger if we did draw watchers. So I think this is going to be a fairly safe bin. That's not a lot different, but we do have a 4-card setup here. So we can get Jeremy and Hob with Janos and Shadows, and then potential for Yoren to nick something good. I think that's the best we can do. And a lot of Dothraki chuds early. So could open Game of Thrones here, just to set ourselves up. I'd love to open at the gates if we can survive the military. No perfect Yoren target there, maybe the Blood Rider, but we risk getting... I'm not sure I have the economy to support like Yoren and the cover I need. I wish I could do Game of Thrones when I had the wall out first, but I might need the time to do it. None of what I would love to do is here. I have 7 gold. Yeah, 7 gold without the gates. Maybe get some more out with the Old Forest Hunter. Obviously 8 with Fealty. I mean, maybe. I've got the dagger, which is good. It might be enough. I think it might be worth trying. I'd really like to hold on the Game of Thrones until there's just more out there. Okay, King of the North Opener. Not the worst thing in the world. It turns off Yoren, but only 1 claim is alright by me, quite frankly. Okay, so we've got an Aemon that we can't use this turn. If we play the Vault, we can't trigger it this turn, so I might not want to do that. We are struggling for military icons if we don't play Yoren, but I don't know what other choice we have. I can Craven one of the Dothraki. It probably doesn't hold us back. Give us enough. Maybe just put out enough targets. Worst case scenario, I can, if I'm worried about Hob dying, I can Janos him away. Okay, I think we have to maybe eat a tricky turn here. Let's get the Hunter out. Yeah, we'll just Craven and hope that'll do enough to hold off. I'm assuming there's going to be a Beggar King into... Gifts for the Widow into Beggar King. My apologies. Put the dagger on Jeremy. I thought about putting it on the Hunter, but just because of maybe some stealth coming out, but okay, let's just bring out Halder. I don't really want to bring out Aemon before the King plot is out the way, so that there's no risk of him getting put to the sword before he can save anybody. Okay, here's the Beggar King. Yeah, the King plot is a problem for us. That's I wish I'd opened Game of Thrones now, but couldn't have known. So the Khalasar is gonna come in at 6, 7, 8, 9. It's gonna be 12 on the military to my 5, 6. So that is going through. That's a shame. So likely going to be a put and 2 claim. Well, let's see if we can fish out any events. I doubt Hob is going to be on the board one way or another. Oh, Cotho. Okay, well, guess I'll die. And Miss Sande. Well, it's comforting to know that the Game of Thrones wouldn't have worked. But there might be room to rebuild next turn with a Yoren on the Cotho. So at this point I could do the power, but I'd rather just turn off any get any power on my house card. We'll probably bring out Janos just to protect Hob from any put. I'm assuming my opponent is thinking about the Watchers, but just is doing it anyway, because you've got to make me have it. I hope saving the 1 gold would maybe put him off. There's definitely some thought going into who goes in. So sparing the Horse Lord, but obviously I can't deal with that. So yeah, I think we will save Hob. Just so we can still draw him. That leaves Halder as the only 3 off still in the building here. So, let's see if Bud goes through. And Halder is dead. Well, this turn has gone badly, as they often do against Targ Blood. Yeah, the stuff I was hoping for as a counter has not showed up when I wanted it to. I think I'd rather just slow the game down. If I win this challenge, it means... oh, that's silly, wasn't it? I should have let that go through so I can have Dom and my opponent gets the unopposed, as opposed to my opponent just gets Dom. That's a quick lesson in what not to do for all you aspiring players out there. Okay, so options. Probably expect to return to the fields here. I'm tempted to Valor, but then I'll have 5. I'll have enough to Yoren with a Vault, but that'll be all I have, and I'd be probably going first, so I wouldn't have anything to Yoren. So I think probably better play to just Game of Thrones and try to hold it off. If I can get Kotho, that's fantastic. Especially if the Game of Thrones convinces my opponent to keep him around. So yeah, and obviously the return to the fields would have turned off that Valor pretty much, so that's fine. Hopefully we can get a foothold back now. Okay, so that's alright. Kotho is on the table. And a Practice Blade is very welcome. So... let's go ahead and do that. I've got 2 spare, which could be a Hunter. Practice Blade is tempting, but it's 1 strength in the way. I don't want to get rid of either of these cards now that Hob is off the board, in order to afford both things. So I think that'll do. Hopefully that's enough to get me the Game of Thrones this turn. Probably in a lot of trouble if my opponent can win the intrigue. Has to find 7 more strength. Well, there's 5 of it. Looks like I might get away with it here. My opponent not rushing to bring out more stuff. So there's enough money for Blood of My Blood, though. And if that happens, then yeah, I guess I die. But I just have to play as if it's not there, pretty much. My instinct is to pass. Could do the military. That might at least force something to kneel. There's no summer plot if aggro comes out. I can't do the military course, no. Game of Thrones. Have to do the intrigue. And if I do the intrigue, then it allows my opponent to win it back at me. So I strongly suspect the Blood of My Blood, but I think I have to hope it's not there. Because this is the only way I get out of this challenge phase in one piece. No, it's gifts for an Arak. Okay, to get the strength to win the intrigue. Of course, that makes a lot more sense. Okay, well. So this is happening. Plaza will stand Kaholo. Then I'm in a world of pain. Viewer, I suspect that this game is not going to be long. So that would be 9 strength for the Intimidate. So if I oppose with one, the other is essentially getting knelt. If I oppose with both, the Old Forest Hunter gets knelt, so it doesn't matter. So let's oppose with my opponent's card. On the plus side, it's 2 of the gifts gone. And also Aemon's still in my hand, which is nice. Also not sad for Aemon to be in, Aegon to be in the bin even. So I assume we have. I guess do that. I'm getting knelt regardless. If it's put on Yoren, that's annoying. If Yoren gets through this without me having to spend the dupe, I could Valor into a probable mark. Yeah, there goes Geza. I probably have to Valor next turn. Yeah. I don't want Kotho coming back. I know there are Targ blood decks that have dropped marked. I think that's a massive mistake. I'm strongly expecting to get marked here. But I have to Valor anyway. If I don't, it's fantastic. And I just have to get that board gone. If I can turn off the Khalasar in Kaholo, I might have a way back. Fury is nice. Hopefully there's not too much in that hand. There'll be something. We're not completely dead yet. Corin and the Wall, both nice to have. I can't afford a lot. Fealty doesn't help on any of these. I could get Aemon and the dagger on Yoren and then ambush the practice blade for one more surprise strength. I think that's what I've got. Maybe that one will do the job. Well, there's a Khalasar. So, yep, looks like I am in the bin. I can save Yoren. No point doing Caligars on the attack. I guess puts power on my faction card. This is going to end poorly. I can claim Aemon and Yoren and then have Aemon save Yoren on his way out. So there's that. I think that's better than Aemon save himself because he'll just die very soon. Oh, of course, there'll be a final put to the sword, I assume. Usually run 3. Alright, gifts. Torch on the vault makes sense. And Aemon saves Yoren. I mean, the saving grace here is that despite all this carnage, it's only 2-0, 2-1 in a moment. But I think the damage is done. My reset is gone. I'm out of chud. Which means that even if I draw watches now, I have to draw multiple rangers in order to play it. I think the play here is to go for the watch, just to try to slow down. Right, force a power challenge, ideally with a Khalasar. I don't think there's anybody too relevant I could print. So I can just get John for the raw strength. I sort of expect a Daenerys in there. There might not be. I get trading. I can afford everything in my hand, but it probably doesn't do me an awful lot of good, and gives my opponent more money with which to smash me in the face. Let's try for the watch, I think. Nice against win or die. Probably just turns off the power, but forces my opponent to... Oh god, too limited. Yeah. I mean, I'm clutching at straws here. But it's still technically a chance I could come back into this. Shogo is going to get +6 strength, and that seems good. Okay, so I force... Does it mean this Horse Lord will do the power? Oh, Viserys will do the power. Okay, I am going to die. So, with that said, no point putting out Corrin to get murdered. I could play the wall to bait the put to the torch, but I think I'd rather just have it as protection for Corrin. As my only character, I'm probably going to want him next turn. So that's that. But this ought to be done and dusted. Yeah, I reckon 18 strength will just about cover it. So barring is generically useful, they're probably past its sell by date. But it would mean, I think, trading and hope I'd get enough draw to save some people is all I've got. I'm probably looking at a concession pretty soon. Let's see what I have to respond to. I'll go second. So Nightmares turns off the extra claim from the Khalasar, which would at least keep Corin alive for a round now that I have a Chud. That's what I've got, so that's what I'll do. No loyals, irritatingly. I'll get the wall for extra strength. I'll get the dagger. We have enough for Nightmares. Overwhelming numbers. Well, that'd be funny when I play barring next turn, I guess. That's small victories. I can win the power if I want to. However, if I don't, I can. I do believe I can kill a Khalasar. I think I'll do that. Yeah, that seems like a laugh. I mean, I'm going to lose my dagger because of Viserys, but worth it. Is that all the Khalasar's gone as well? Or is there one still in the hand? 1, 2... Yep, they're all gone. Well, this technically could have gone worse. Whoa! Haha! Is that 2 Rangers and a Watkiz I see? This is fine. Tell you what, this could get really funny actually. Keep the practice blade in hand in case I need it for ambush. Oh, I'd love it if you did the military of everyone. Please do the military of everyone. Well, it's not everyone. It will, however, do. So, we're still losing the power challenge and the wall, but that 2 power off go-go will make up for that somewhat. We are not out of this yet, as strange as that is. Just memorising our opponent's plots, king plot, gates, fury, return, win or die. Okay. Well, this goes to show, don't always concede at the first sign of trouble. Might still go wrong. First snow is hurts both of us. I know there's no marched for Corin, which is welcome. Unfortunately, both of those people are dead. Gives us fodder for the hunter, but nothing much to do with him. Now, can Recaro force through a military challenge? Well, there's no rolling numbers, isn't there? So I guess we are losing the military. Doesn't look like there's... well, it would have been a third sword by now, so sort of living on borrowed time until the recycling location has come in. But looks like Corin is dying. So, you know, fine. Easy come, easy go. Huh. Why wasn't there any overwhelming numbers there? There's nothing available. That can't be right. I guess pushing the power advantage, I guess. I don't know why you wouldn't just kill my people. I will take it. Now I just make sure I don't forget my plot, which I often do. So, I know there's a Daenerys available, which means fetching Jon Snow is probably a bad call. So, let's get a ranging party, or Mullin. Mullin isn't a bad shout. Just to turn off Recaro, or whatever big comes next. Ranging party is more strength. I know First Snow isn't coming back again. Forest Patrol would be nice. Has more strength than the ranging party, but that power icon is really relevant now. Yeah, I think we just take the ranging party. Well, it's not over. That's a lot of head start to make up. We know there's been Anago. Maybe there's another one coming. Not a lot of summon plots though, so the right plausible is just a one-off. Maybe Game of Thrones buys with the time I need here. Barring. If it's Fury, I should go barring, but I feel like Win or Die is more likely. Try and find the reshuffle tech. I should probably wait for Game of Thrones until I have an intrigue icon. I might have enough to pull it out. At the gates would be draw. Actually, no, it wouldn't be. I haven't got any targets for it left. So at the gates is a waste of my time. Oh, it probably has to be Game of Thrones, doesn't it? It'd just be so annoying if my opponent has an icon of any kind. But Kothe's gone, Missandei's gone. Possibly the Oniago is gone. There must be something else in there. It's so dangerous not having an entry line on my own. Maybe barring is safer. Yeah, it's barring. Ah, shame. I'd love to have played Game of Thrones there. Into the Win or Die. Benjen is nice. There's more rangers. I can threaten the event again. preventing stealth is pretty welcome. There's going to be a lot of beef here. Okay, the market is back, so timer is run out on that hilarious luck. So now I really do care about holding back that win by 5, because I think Corrin is going to be a necessary part of anything I do here. Well, there's the second one. Mercenary contract, fair enough. So there's one gift back in there, but he hasn't drawn it yet. So as far as I know, my opponent has just the 4, 7, 8, 9, 10. As far as I know, I can win it. There's no overwhelming numbers because barring the gates. Let me just focus on getting some guys out here. If a Daenerys happens, that's really nice. I can do 14. I kind of like to not play Benjen right now, just because there's a Daenerys. Is that foolish? I think I can hold off some stuff here. It's got exactly 10. I should be scared of the Daenerys. I've got one more with the practice blade if I need it. I hope that wasn't too bold, but I can't afford to get locked out by a Daenerys. Okay, so my opponent can stand somebody with Plaza, so he can get to 7 on the military. I can prevent the win by 5, but I can't win the power. I could win the power because I got the practice blade. So let's do that. Then I should be able to hold off the military as well. It's the Horse Lord standing, that's fine. Okay. We are stabilising here, and we will get a wall trigger. This makes me use Corrin, but that's fine. Okay, we are actually getting some real progress here. That one Watchers, when we finally drew it, has been so valuable. Right, we are right up in it now. 9 plays 10. My opponent is out of hand. Really surprised the overwhelming numbers didn't come out on that first no turn. I haven't worked out why that didn't happen. So, it's not going to return. Presumably not. I might have the gates to shuffle, but it doesn't feel great. I now feel reasonably sure that I'm okay on Game of Thrones. But if it's Daenerys, I guess for the watch is funny, right? I guess really, really forces him to draw something relevant. Like Plaza Pride doesn't matter. Yeah, let's just set up for this with the Game of Thrones. I think he's got to do quite a lot to get through it now. And now that Daenerys is out of the way, I can play Benjen and potentially set up for a Valor of my own to win the game. If I can get to 13, which is possible. Oh, Jon is great. The Throne also very welcome. Also, I can't play all of this. Win with the world. That's quite annoying. Well, I just play what I can. Nothing here is reducible with Fealty. So it's Jon or Benjen. And then I get Iron Throne. I know I'm not getting... I should play Jon in case Womb will bring out like an Aggo or something. I think that's the play. Obviously I can do all of these things by saying no to Aggo. Aegon. That's the more likely intrigue icon, who I forgot, but obviously can't get wound. So sure. Blood Rider. That's fine. We might be home and dry. We'll get an unopposed out of Jon here and a stand. We can get stealth with Benjen. We might be in a position to close very imminently. That's the wrong stealth target, but oh well. I don't think we're closing here, but we're getting real close. I think we are 14 in a minute. Wow, how this has turned. So now he's closing for the watch, I think. Get Benjen out. Nightmares is nice. Oh, Hobbs finally showed up again. Thanks for nothing, buddy. I'll use the throne for Aegon probably. Although Drogo is a shame. I started thinking it wasn't here. But we can Nightmares Drogo. And Benjen obviously turns him off as a threat anyway. There's no Shadows cards, so let's turn off something that might be scary. Drogo dupe with Womb. There we are. Well, I had no inkling that was going to come back. Yeah, that one watches like that's what it's in the deck to do to save this matchup. I just thought it was too late to be saved. If I hadn't been on camera, I would have conceded it quite likely. Yeah, and my opponent mentions here he drew some dead characters at bad times, and I do think that's part of it. Like not seeing the recycling tools. If it had a third put to the sword earlier, I'd probably be dead. Yeah, if my opponent had the Myrini's Market, then I think Corrin would be a long, long time dead. But hey, just goes to show, don't give up against these board wipe decks. There is every chance that it can go very differently to how you think it's going to. Yeah, it was yikes. It's a hell of a game. Yeah, hope you enjoyed it. So we are now inexplicably 2-0 up. I will be back for round 3 next week, playing another different deck. We'll see just how far this can go. Thank you very much in the meantime, and catch you soon.